I'd like Commissioner Lebo to lead us in the pledge, please.
Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First matter on the agenda is the approval of the draft minutes of the regular meeting of June 14th, 2023. Have a motion to approve?
Motion approved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion's granted. Next is the award presentations.
This presentation is for the Officer of the Quarter. On June 13th, all the lieutenants and sergeants of the Patrol Division met and after careful deliberation, unanimously selected Officer Dominic Migliaro as the Officer of the Quarter for the period of July 15th, 2023 to October 14th, 2023. The below was written about Officer Migliaro by his immediate supervisors. With regards to the traits Officer Migliaro has displayed that made him a viable candidate for this prestigious recognition. Personality. Officer Migliaro, since joining the police department in 2022, has been known to be reliable and dependable throughout the patrol division. He has developed a great working relationship with his peers and supervisors alike. Officer Migliaro has shown a strong drive and a desire to lead within the organization. His compassion with citizens and willingness to accept additional shift-specific assignments are a true testament to Officer Migliaro's character. Attitude. Officer Migliaro always shows up for work upbeat and ready for any assignment placed upon him. He is always volunteering to take on additional assignments throughout the town and goes out of his way to assist other officers. He has developed a passion to train and guide younger officers and those new to the department. Officer Migliaro is a positive role model and does the job the right way, no matter how big or small the task. His willingness to take on tasks makes him a valuable asset for the direct supervisors. Fitness and appearance. Officer Migliaro was able to keep himself physically fit despite juggling full-time police work and an active family life. He shows up every day looking prepared and ready for duty. Initiative. Officer Migliaro has a number of positive personality traits that allow him to be the asset he is. He tries to take the initiative on all of his investigations as he looks to pursue them to completion. He has the ability to recognize evolving problem areas and works both independently and as a team to address them without any supervisor direction. Officer Migliaro is knowledgeable with department practices and is able to complete his daily activities with little supervision. He has recently been accepted as a field training officer, which allows him to take on greater leadership roles within the organization. Job proficiency. Officer Migliaro had experience working in the city of West Haven, but he has grown tremendously as an officer since he has joined this department. He has put in a consistent level of police work since joining the force and has continuously challenged himself. He is very knowledgeable in both motor vehicle and criminal law and knows how to apply it accordingly. He takes pride in his work and has been a strong influence in addressing recent issues at South Bay and Andros Diner. He interacts well with citizens and displays true empathy when needed. Overall, Officer Migliaro is a well-rounded officer. From the start of the year to present, he has initiated 48 motor vehicle traffic stops, issued 10 infractions and summonses. He has also made 14 criminal and motor vehicle arrests during the same time frame. It is our honor to present Dominic Migliaro with the Officer of the Quarter Award, which includes this certificate, this plaque, this pin that you can proudly wear on your Class A uniform, and your name has been added to the perpetual plaque.
Thank you so much for your Commissioner, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Good job.
Congratulations, good work.
Sit down there. Congratulations. Thank you. Commissioners, good evening. Chief Recognition Medal is awarded by the Chief of Police in appreciation and recognition for unwavering dedication and loyalty to the law enforcement profession and for consistent high-quality performance as a professional police officer. Chief's Recognition Medal is awarded to employees who garner a minimum of 5 supervisor recognition reports within the past fiscal year. It reflects an exceptional above-average effort with emphasis on leadership and high-level achievements in the management and coordination of a program or staff function. Performing particularly noteworthy acts of service with determined and intelligent performance that exceeds the criteria for traditional awards, whose service both on and off duty embodies the mission and the core values of the agency and community positivity and professionalism. It is with great honor that we present Sergeant John McGrath, Officer William Beatty, and Officer Anthony Falbo with the 2023 Chiefs Recognition Medal. And John McGrath can't be here today, so Anthony Falbo, come on up. Beatty? That's you. Thank you, Chief. Congrats.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes. Go ahead.
Thank you.
I'll also add that Sergeant McGrath has been recognized last year as well for the Chiefs Recognition Medal, and this is the second time that Sergeant Beatty has been recognized for the Chiefs Recognition Medal. If I could just ask you guys to come back up, we'll take a picture first with them, and then have Dominic come up as well. No, we're gonna. Commissioners, can you just stand up and move towards the middle? Sure. And we'll get you in this photo. Deputy Chief Broderick.
Yeah, I'm here to make you look good. How am I doing?
Your wife, well.
You got road gas.
Okay, look at us.
Did I set our mic at you?
Well, yeah, he had it slide that way.
You look on your face. This is my good side.
It's still
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Nice job, guys.
And can you come up as well? I said
Have one?
one more.
One more.
Okay, one more.
One more it is.
Move down.
For posterity.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Congratulations, guys.
Perfect, thank you.
Awesome.
All right.
You guys gonna take off? All right.
So the board would like to congratulate the Officer of the Quarter Award winner and also the Officer Recognition Award winners. Thank you for your recognition, and thank you for your proud service to the town of Fairfield.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Congrats.
Okay. So next, we have traffic surveys, and I think for the purpose of recognizing the crowd that's here today, I think we might want to consider taking them out of order. I think we might want to go to the number 7, the location survey for Reading Road, Hulse Farm Road, and Mile Common. Do I have a motion to approve taking this out of order? All in favor of that motion?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. So let's go to survey number 7, location. Kevin?
Sure. Survey number 7, location Reading Road, Hulse Highway or Hulse Farm Road to Mile Common. Nature of request. A request to install center line rumble strips and edge line painting, fog lines, for the entire length of Reading Road beginning from Hulse Farm Road to Mile Common. By whom? Lieutenant Irizarry, and recommendations to discuss further.
Any comments from the board? Jamie?
Well, I would make I think that
There's a lot of people from the community that want to have input on this, many of whom I'm hearing from today that did not have notice of this. There's also a family that wants to have a lot of input that's still in the morning, who just had a memorial service yesterday, who want to hear a little bit more about this, and there's a lot of residents that are going to be affected. There's also a survey being conducted of Reading Road by a surveying company. So I think we need to get all of that information and hear from the community members, many of whom live up there. And there's also some elected officials who want to take part in the discussion who didn't have much notice of today's meeting. So I would make a motion that we table this item until a date certain, being at least the next meeting, if not a special meeting, if all that information is gathered by that time.
I'll second that.
All in favor of postponing this to the next
Or is
meeting?
there any other comments?
Or is there any other comments?
Yeah.
I'd like to comment, if I may, on it. The breadth of this issue is so wide-ranging that it's not something that's going to be resolved at a meeting tonight. The town is doing a traffic survey, a very involved traffic survey. Many of us are very aware of the issues involved here. There are issues that affect not just this section of the roadway, but Reading Road, it's Burr Street, it's Stratfield Road, and something I believe has to be done, a comprehensive traffic survey that we can all share in and participate in. And I think at this moment, there's not enough time to take into consideration a sharing at this time. So I second and concur with Jamie's motion to put this over.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I agree with both. I think we need to do this, we need to do it right. There's a lot involved, and we need to get all our facts in, look at the survey, listen to the people, and have a meeting so everyone can speak at that meeting.
And, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Also, just to clarify, because there were some misconceptions that we've been having meetings regarding this incident. Yourself and I attended a meeting at the request of the victim's family to hear from them initially about what had occurred and hear from the department members that were involved in the investigation. But beyond that, and that was just a listening session, there have been no official meetings in regards to this outside of what the Police Department Traffic Division has been meeting about. So
That's my understanding.
yeah.
Anything else from the board? Anything from the public? Yes, sir. Please come up and identify yourself.
Dr. Denise Fernandez. It was my sister-in-law who was killed 3 years ago. I started the petition because the speed limits, the speed and the traffic coming down Reading Road have been horrific and increased after COVID. We cannot afford to have another life be taken, let alone that of a child. And Dwight School is right there. Reading Road is a straight road. It's not Burr that deviates, gets a couple of stop signs. It's not Hillside that wiggles around. It's not even Bronson. It is a straight run, and they are using it like a highway. They get on Waze, and Waze directs them straight down to Reading Road. Whatever traffic surveys and whatever speed limits you have from the last radar are not accurate, because they have yet, and I've requested various times, including yesterday, for that black box to be placed north of the Parkway. It's constantly being placed south of the bridge or right by Dwight. The police officers are sitting right by Morehouse. By that point, the cars are seeing the police cars. They're deviating over to Cross Highway in either direction, or they slow down. The speed monitor is the one that flashes, so they know they're being watched, and they purposely slow down. And this time of year right now is a lull, anyway. There are a lot of people that are on vacation. So the last test that was done is not even accurate, because that was put closer to where Megan Ravis died. So everybody's slowing down to look at the flowers and to see where she died. It's not what's happening even north of the Parkway. And I sat there 2 weeks ago with my camera, and you could barely see the cars because they zipped on by. And it's both southbound and northbound side. That one cop was doing 55 miles per hour going northbound. He wasn't even coming southbound. He was going northbound. And when people come off a cross highway and make that turn to go up to Easton, they floor those cars and those trucks. Yesterday, I was on a meeting on the front lawn of a neighbor's house, and we kept seeing the trucks crossing over the yellow line, with trailers in both directions. They have no respect for the line. I have an issue with the mirrors on these trucks and these trailers. I get they need to see behind them, but it's not designed for that road. And everybody cutting through is coming in from Easton, they're coming in from Weston and Ascota. I'm requesting that they put that black box across the street from my house. There's a utility pole. I live at 2036. Across the street from 2058, there's a utility pole in front of that bar. I think you're going to see some really serious different numbers there. I shouldn't have to sit there with my camera and just tape. The minute they see me sitting in my car, because it's a dark blue, so they think I'm a cop, they slow down. But this is years of this, and this has increased over and over, and I will not stop until this gets rectified on this road. I understand all of Fairfield's having issues. But we have a lot of people that are not respecting this road, and no kid should get killed next. Megan Ravis, I understand she's connected. My sister-in-law was from out of town, and the focus went to the fact that he was drunk, and that was the focus, and that he deviated and made the police department chase him down because he was doing his little wiggly room trying to get out of it. But this is too long. And it's from both directions with people cutting through. It's not a highway, it's a road. The state has it listed as a road. But yet they're using it as a highway. And these trucks, I did it from the 2200 address area coming southbound. I took and I have a Honda CRV, which is not a heavy car. And I took my foot off the gas and I was at 20 miles an hour. By the time I hit my house at 2036, I was at 40 miles an hour. And that's without gas. Those trucks are coming way faster. They're heavier, they have equipment, and they're just blowing through, and they don't care. I would like a timeline to give back to people on my road to know when this is going to get dealt with. Hector Irizarry led me to believe that this is being dealt with today. Now you want to push it back to September. How many years do we have to go for this? This got dropped 3 years ago.
I can assure you, Dr. Fernandez, this is not going to get dropped. But we're going to do a study. We're going to do a comprehensive study of those roads, including Reading Road, and see what we can do to stop this nonsense that's going on.
I want to know when the black box is going to get placed on Reading Road.
I can't tell you, but yes, Captain.
The black box was installed, the Black Cat Street Analyzer was installed today at 2036.
At where?
At 2036, it was installed today.
I was just there. There's nothing there.
That means we did a good job.
2036, I'm on the northbound. I'm on the north side. Is it going to pick up the southbound side?
It's gonna pick up both lanes of traffic.
Because I was there and I didn't see it.
But check it out when you go home.
I was just there. I just came from home.
It's a little bit north of your driveway.
Okay?
But the fact of the matter is, we need to do a comprehensive job. Not
I
something
understand.
that's going to take place
But
today.
it's interesting because I was the person who put in the paperwork to have this brought to you guys. Nobody notified me.
Thank you.
I didn't get an email saying, this is going to go to the committee.
That's fine, thank you. Any other comments from the public? Yes. Please come up and identify yourself, please.
Amy Barrett, 306 Villa Avenue. I just have a question about the comprehensive study. Changes to Villa Avenue are also on today's agenda, something that's been going on for about a year. And I'm just curious, is this comprehensive study just going to be focused on the Reading Road and Hall Farm area, or is it going to be the other streets that you mentioned, Milton Road, Villa, Stratfield? Because as the doctor mentioned, excessive speed is a problem all over town. Last year, in October, we got fog lines painted, at the suggestion of Lieutenant Irizarry, which was great. Of course, now they've been dug up by the gas company for that work. Can't see half of them, but when they were there, people ignored them. They're still coming dangerously close to the curb. Why? Because they're driving in excess of the 20-mile-an-hour sign that was just posted there. I think it was 3 weeks ago, whenever Lieutenant Irizarry was on vacation. I'm sorry, I don't remember when that was, because I emailed him. Car crossed the double yellow line and hit my neighbor's stone wall and then took off and abandoned the car on King Street. These accidents, our petition, with Ginny's not here, but Mr. Dick and I, we started something last year because a car that the accident reconstruction officer told us was traveling in excess of 80 miles an hour crashed into my front yard. After that, there were 4 more accidents in that direct area of Villa where cars left the road, crossing the sidewalk, crashing into whatever.
Amy, Hector is here today, and then he can address your concern.
Well, I guess all of that, my question just is this traffic survey going to cover more than just one select area, or is it going to, as you said, truly be comprehensive, because it is a town-wide problem?
Would you like to answer that, Hector?
Yes. Villa Avenue is on the agenda for today. Mega's going to update the commission on what we're looking to do moving forward and implementing some new strategies, and to include some curb extension and some center island medians for Villa Avenue. So we're hopeful that that will be addressed in the very near future. With regards to the comprehensive study, I'm sure everyone can understand that due to the 2 recent deaths, 2021 and just a couple weeks ago, we are seriously taking a look at Reading Road. Unfortunately, Dr. I was under the belief that the item would be heard today as well. So until the meeting started, that I realized it was going to be tabled, so I apologize for that. So we will continue to look forward to make these improvements, not only on Reading Road. I believe Reading Road is a good opportunity to be a footprint for the entire town, specifically Greenfield Hill areas. Many of the roads are very similar in that area.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other comments? Yes. Please identify yourself.
Do you want me to come up there?
Sure.
Yeah, okay, cool. My name is Sarah Roy. I live at 3 Buena Vista Road, and I'm here in support of a lot of folks here with their various applications and locations. But I just wanted to say that I understand you want to do the right thing and that you want to make sure that you are very thoughtful in your approach. I feel like the time to do that was after July 4th, 2020. That was the call to action when Mary Leedy died. And yes, he was drunk. Yes, but the road, the design of the road allowed him to get to that speed and to behave in that way. If it was designed to force cars to go slower, that may not have happened, or it might have happened in a different way. And so I'm disappointed. I think a lot of folks here are disappointed. Yes, we want you to be careful and thoughtful in what you do, but every day that goes by that substantive change is not made to that road is a chance for someone else to be hurt or killed. And so I want you to think about that. There are people here who've lost people. We can't get them back. And every day that you don't act is a chance that someone else is going to die.
Thank you, Sarah. Any other comments from the public? Seeing none? Yeah. Yes. Please identify yourself.
And Megan, just so you're aware, the motion is to table this because there hasn't been enough public input. So we're not actually voting on this tonight. It's being tabled to a date.
So that answers my first question. Megan McClogue, 2815 Reading Road. Obviously, I was a little bit late, so I'm confused by the point of order, and I appreciate that clarification, Commissioner Milliken. I have the unfortunate privilege of having, as a neighbor on Reading Road, the unfortunate
terrible, tragic thing that had happened right after I purchased my home on Reading Road the first time, as Ms. Roy referenced back in the first July 4th incident, and now, of course, the second one. As a result, I felt moved as a neighbor to immediately reach out to the town as soon as it happened the second time and say, this seems a little bit concerning. It's two tragic accidents, although they are very different in nature and different time of day and different circumstances. It's two tragic accidents. It is a scenic road, but it is also a road that I've witnessed for the last 4 years being incredibly sped upon, incredibly disregarded in terms of safety issues, and I was concerned. So when I reached out to the town, I was tremendously relieved to see the affirmative action that had already been taken on behalf of the police department to get involved. They had already taken a step to already look into the tremendous safety options that needed to be analyzed because they recognized as a result of this tragic accident that something had to be done. So I do disagree with Ms. Roy's point that time has gone by and something hasn't been done. In fact, I think the Fairfield Police Department did a tremendous job being very swift in their response, recognizing they had to take a step and look at what should be done. That being said, the timeline of what has passed in the last just 3 years, 2 pedestrian fatalities, I think highlights a very unique need for the imminent addressing of this issue. I don't know of any other town or, street, even in our town, even in a different neighborhood, that has the same number of tragic accidents that have happened in such a short period of time. I think that is its initial, natural, immediate call to action. I don't think a petition needs to be submitted, and I think that's evidenced by the fact that the Fairfield Police already got involved before the petition was even submitted. I think tabling this will not make either of the families affected by this feel any more comfort than we've already all tried to give them. This has dramatically changed families' lives. Not only the 2 victims, not only the 2 defendants in both cases, but the neighbors who live there. There's a serious concern. Tabling this to September, I do have grave concern, will just delay the ability for us to be able to implement change. I think the department under Lieutenant Irizarry's incredible run of the safety program has already committed so much work and energy and resources into this proposal tonight that to table this down the road, I don't see how that would benefit anybody. I don't see how that would benefit anybody involved, and I do think
well, Megan, the whole purpose of tabling it was we heard from many people today, including some elected officials, that had no idea that this was on the agenda tonight, and they want to have input. They think that we should have a larger community meeting about it, and I spoke with the Ravis family yesterday. Mm-hmm. They have concerns and questions over the centerline rumble strip and are currently not in support of it until they find out more about it. So, with that said, and out of respect for them, as you know, you were there yesterday, they just had the memorial yesterday. It's all about giving notice to people, letting as many members of the community be involved, hearing as many ideas as they have, developing a strategic overall plan, and then implementing it at once instead of piecemealing it together by putting a centerline rumble strip, vertical rumble strips, 5 lines, whatever, what have you. Plus the survey of the property with the sight lines and stop signs and all that hasn't even come into play yet. So, I mean, there's a lot of pieces. So instead of piecemealing this together in a rush to show that something's being done, the thought of the commission was we gather this information, hear from the community, hear from the families that are involved, and then go forward with an overall strategic plan.
So respectfully to both of your points, Commissioner Millington, the first one about the fact that public officials didn't have notice really shocks me because it's a public agenda. It was posted in the exact statutory time it was supposed to be. I'm confused how that
I'm not sure how many people, like state representatives, are looking at the police commission agenda.
Well, I'd imagine they should be. But to the second point is I do think tremendous not only neighborhood input has gone into the discussion of this proposal that came out of many meetings with engineering and things like that, but also input from both families, including the Ravis family and the Fernandez family, both of whom I've spoken with at length as one of the neighborhood representatives on this issue. But on top of just out of respect for those families, I don't see the argument of a detriment of doing something sooner. In fact, I see the reverse implication, which would be that lack of any action at this point could only increase the risk for another unfortunate fatality. I don't see that starting with a couple of pieces and then either amplifying it down the road could in any way add risk to the safety situation in Reading Road. And I think that that was the charge of this entire commission's decision, is to do what we could in conjunction with the proposals of the safety committee to minimize any risk going further. And to Ms. Roy's point, I'm not at all aware of whether or not there was ever a petition before this commission before, after the first tragic accident, but there is now. And the lack of action, and I won't put blame on any party involved, the lack of action, one could argue, and I'm not, may have contributed to the possibility for the second fatal accident. And I do not see the argument as to why it would be a detriment to impact small little changes that can only be amplified or then further modified down the road. I don't see how that could, hurt anything down the road.
Megan, I'd like to thank you for what you've done and your participation in this effort now. But this is not something that's going to be fixed overnight.
No.
We need the input from the engineering department that hasn't really taken this up yet. We need the input from our department and from the studies that are being done by the town of Fairfield to make an accurate analysis of what we need. We're all aware of what we need to do to correct the situation. I've been in touch with the Ravens family. I've been in touch with, I know Jamie has, I know others here, I know the chief has been. We're aware that something has to take place to correct the problem on Reading Road, and we're going to do it. But we're not going to do it tonight.
So,
and with all due respect, that's, I believe, our position.
I just have a question. Is there a reason that there's not a suggestion about a modification to the proposal? Or because there are 4 parts, I believe, to the proposal. It sounds like Commissioner Millington identified one that is a potential issue. I understand the town engineering department has already weighed in, and actually multiple hours of meetings with town departments, including the Fairfield Police, on this. I'm pretty certain that's correct, but I'm willing to be corrected if somebody gives me different information. I just don't see what further analysis from the engineering perspective or a modification to the proposal, how any of that would detriment the risk moving forward.
Well,
I can,
yes,
yeah, I mean, and thank you for being here, and thank you for all that you've done and that you're doing here. I only see 2 pieces here. What's on our agenda is just a couple sentences that refers to 2 items, not 4 items. So as a commissioner sitting here, being asked to understand and comprehend and make a very important global decision for an area, for a neighborhood, for a town, it's just not enough information that we haven't received all of the information from all of the relative parties in a timely manner to have it and to understand it and then to make a comprehensive, intelligent decision. That's all I'm saying, which makes me certainly lean toward getting that information, understanding it, getting the input from all the parties, all the constituents, and putting it together and making sure that this is the right thing and this is not the right thing, and putting it together, at one time, doing it once, doing it well, and doing it right.
I just have a question, and for the record, I just would like the answer as to what the specific documents you're looking for from which town departments that...
Whatever is forthcoming. I don't know what they are. I haven't seen them.
Well, I don't know if by point of order I can defer to Lieutenant Irizarry, who has met with engineering, and I know that the suggestion of this proposal came out of that meeting. So I imagine that his committee is entrusted with relaying the proposals and suggestions out of engineering. Are you looking for specific written plans or
We're
anything?
looking for a traffic study. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not going to happen overnight, but we're looking, I think, obviously, Dr. Fernandez has brought this issue up, and there's certain sections of Reading Road is a long road, stretching from Easton to
over 4 miles.
Hulls Farm Road without any stop signs.
Right.
And we know that we've got to do something, but it's not something that we can address just one section of the road with. I mean, the whole road has to be addressed. Not only that, I mean, there's a few other streets that share that, almost that length, without any traffic signs. And I think Greenfield Hill is in need. I live on Burr Street. I know what happens at 5 o'clock in the morning. or what happens at 6 o'clock at night. I'm there, and I see it, and I agree with you. But we will do something about it.
I guess I just want to understand what the commission's position and requests are so that,
Well, I don't have, if you're asking me, coming back to me, I don't have a specific list of requests to parse out to the individual groups. I'm looking for that information to be collaborated and brought to us.
which
And
individual
then-
groups though, just to clarify, forgive me, this is my first.
I mean,
It is,
I don't think-
it is,
I
but,
don't-
we're,
yeah.
and with all due respect,
Yeah,
I mean, we're trying to accommodate you and accommodate your questioning.
yeah.
But for the commission, I believe, has come to the realization that this is not going to be heard tonight based upon the lack of information that we have before us.
Right,
That's fair. Yeah,
and
think
I
that's
can
fair.
respect that, I just
And
want
so,
to ask you
and
what-
so, I know, I can give you another minute.
But it's a little bit out of order for us to be sitting here being questioned by anyone, just from a Robert's Rules perspective, okay?
That's true.
You don't have to answer her.
But-
Well, I mean, I want to be respectful,
I
and I want to,
appreciate-
and I want to interact with you and certainly be respectful to everyone here. And we want to do the right thing. I'll give you my personal word, and I've been an officer for close to 30 years. Whatever the solution is, whatever it costs, whatever it takes, whenever it can be done, I will participate and get that done with this team of people up here and all the other teams that make up the global decision that has to be made. Again, I just don't have enough knowledge at this particular moment to make that decision and know when I walk away from here tonight, I've done the right thing and the complete thing, and that enough people have been positively impacted by it.
And Commissioner, I can completely
Yeah.
appreciate that.
So thank you for your comments.
I just for the record though, because I do think it's important for the public to understand, as a point of clarification, which I do believe is allowed in the Robert's Rules, is to understand what the suggestion is that another proposal come before this commission, what would amplify the information that you need to make a more thorough.
Megan, we're waiting on, the town has hired surveyors to look at all of Reading Road. To have a comprehensive plan, we need to see those surveys. People are complaining about sightline obstructions. We need to see whether that's the town's right of way or it's been encroached on by a private property owner. We need to look at where the stop signs are. There are complaints that there's foliage overcoming stop signs. And what we normally do as this commission is we go up and look at it, which, this is within 2 weeks right now. You want rumble strips. So from my conversation with the Reyes family yesterday, they think that those centerline rumble strips will push cars further over towards pedestrians, and that has to be explained to them. And we want people who are stakeholders in this to feel that they're part of the process and to buy into the solutions at the end. And that can't be done tonight. And that's why we're not, gonna, move ahead tonight on making a decision on this until we know that the stakeholders have had their opportunity to speak. I mean, when you look at this major issue, how many people came to talk about this tonight? It's a major, major town issue with a lot of people interested in having their input heard. And by evidence tonight, there's just a handful of people here who, we need to have more public notice, more involvement. It just can't be rushed.
I believe there's a motion on the table.
Yes, there's a motion on the
There is.
table. So thank you, Megan, for your comment.
I'll make a motion to approve or the motion's been made, but, I would, make a motion to move.
To continue this
question.
with a date
Yeah,
certain.
Yeah.
Okay, and the date certain date?
Our September meeting
Our
or
September
sooner if
meeting.
deemed
Yeah.
necessary or available.
May I have a second to that? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed?
I have a question. Have any of you ever walked Reading Road?
I bicycled Reading Road. I've walked Reading Road. I live on Burr Street, so I've been there, and I do that. I lived on Merwin's Lane.
In an effort to maintain Robert's Rules, we should probably,
Move on.
So I understand what you're saying.
So the issue with the brush.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, it's closed.
No, I have a question.
no,
I'm
no,
sorry,
you
but
can't-
it's closed.
that's not how it works.
It's closed.
That's not how it works.
It's closed. Thank you.
It has been voted on and it's closed. Thank you, and I apologize,
Okay.
but I don't want to disrespect.
That's fine.
the order.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, let's go to the survey.
Okay.
Okay, let's start the survey, number 1, location.
Thank you. Survey number 1, Norwegian Woods at North Benson Road. Nature of request. requesting no turnaround or no outlet sign at the entrance of Norwegian Woods. Cars turn down the street, often thinking it is a cut-through. There are 4 private residences and several young children. By whom? Sarah Strom. The recommendation is to install a small dead-end sign placed over the top of the Norwegian Woods street sign. The actual MUTCD sign detail to be submitted by engineer.
I'll make a motion to accept the recommendation.
And I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
7-0. Okay. Survey number 2, location Villa Avenue between Melville Avenue and Brooklawn Avenue. Nature of request. Issue of concern is traffic calming sidewalk and crosswalk. See attached proposed options for explanation. By whom? Mega Jane, Senior Civil Engineer. And the recommendation is agree the placement of median center islands between 61 Villa Avenue and 77 Villa Avenue, as well as 121 Villa Avenue to 147 Villa Avenue, and agree this should be submitted for approval. Approved curb extensions at Villa and Lewis to be more gradual, extending west from Lewis Drive. Postpone the mid-block crosswalk near the 100 block of Villa Avenue until town-owned property renovations are completed.
Any comments from the board? Any comments from the public? Yes, please come in. That's Amy? Amy Garrett? Yeah, please.
I just actually had a question, because I know Mega and a lot of people came out, Lieutenant Irizarry, they walked us through the proposed changes, and it just wasn't clear with those bump outs.
Yeah.
Will that be on both sides, east and westbound, so it'll be in front of, at Nichols as well as Lewis?
Yes.
And then,
That's what we are proposing, and, just to tell you also, we will be doing,
The
study
testing.
pilot on 17th of July, Monday, starting, we will be putting the cones, and we will be laying out all our plans. So you will be,
and that was actually my other question, right? Because you're approving the location of these at specific sites. If the testing shows that it should be longer or shorter, or
Yes.
further up or further down, does that mean we have to come back, or will the result of the testing?
That's up to, the final, answer to that is up to the engineering department.
Yeah.
And, you know, and
I can show you the plan quickly, if you guys, if you're not running out of time. I can pull the
And
plan.
my question was, I just didn't know if the result of the testing meant that they needed to be moved, if we needed to come back, or just, it's going to be based on whatever engineer's recommendation is, and then the town will go.
So technically, I have included everything that needs to be there. So anything reductions, I don't think we have to come back, but anything that is drastically we have to add, we may have to come back for the hearing. Because they are only hearing that what we are proposing today. If something is out of the plan that is not in the proposal, I think they would like to hear.
that's correct. That's correct. Thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Well, I make the motion to accept the recommendation and maybe add on there, or make a motion to accept the recommendation as amended, with that amendment being that if any small adjustments are suggested by the engineering department, that the chief would have the discretion of approving those.
Is there a second to the amendment to Jamie's motion to amend?
You're making an amendment right now, right, correct?
Making an amendment to the recommendation that if the engineering department needs to make small adjustments, that well, why don't we say the police command staff can review it and approve it, so as not to delay.
Is there a second to that?
I'll second it, but you're all good with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, going back to the,
Make a motion that we accept the recommendation as amended.
all in favor?
I'll second
Aye.
it.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
All opposed? None.
Okay. Are we good?
Yes?
Okay. Survey number 3, location Mill Plain Road, at and between Sturgis Road and Sunfield Lane. The issues of concern, crosswalks for the I-95 ramps in local streets. See attached pictures and plans. By whom? Mega Jane, Senior Civil Engineer. And the recommendation it's recommended for approval as proposed by engineering.
Any comments from the board? I'm sorry? Yes. If there are no comments, any comments from the board?
I got a comment.
Yes.
So is it gonna infringe upon state property at all, crosswalk? No.
I'm sorry.
Is it gonna be on state property at all, the crosswalk?
Only I-95 ramps are the state property, so those are the only ones that DOT has approved it. Those are the state property. Not Sunfield or Riverfield, that is town. And Sturgis is also town.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the board?
No, but it's been approved by the state, she said, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Thank you, Megan.
Thank you.
Any comments from the public? Yes.
Yeah, my name is Kathleen Hill. It was my sister who actually was killed at that ramp. And so we've been kind of going back and forth. And I've been listening to a lot of people here say there's been a lot of time that has gone by for things to be done. First, I want to recognize and thank you for all the work that you do. I think there's some confusion as to why there's so much time that is taken. I understand there have to be surveys and engineering and all of that. But it will be 3 years in November since she was killed there. And I did not see the photographs. I was sent, Sarah sent me the agenda, but I did not see any of the photographs that you plan to do. One of the confusing things when my sister was hit was that there's a sidewalk on one side, a sidewalk on the other side, and then it's a state road, and who's responsible for that, and how are you going to get across to the other side if you're not allowed to be on that state road? And there was talk about perhaps putting a stop sign on the opposite side because it was actually a truck just around there without stopping. So my question is, how much information do you have? I haven't seen any of the plans.
I have plans, but I'm not sure. If time allows, can I pull the plan up on the flash drive that everybody can see?
Well, I appreciate that because, again, there are 3 fatalities now that have happened, at least, and probably more injuries that could have happened. And so time, I agree, is of the essence to try and get some of these things implemented. And I think the public is a little confused as to why it's taking so much time. Right?
May I have your name again, please?
I'm sorry?
May I have your first name again?
It's Kathleen with the state.
Thank you, Kathleen.
Is this working? I just pulled the map, just to your point, I know you haven't seen the map. We did the survey for this whole area, and,
Would you like to come up to see it? Oh,
That's fine, me
okay.
too.
Yeah, I think I can see it here.
Okay.
so technically this is a survey map, and this is the, so these are the I-95, this is the north side where this mill plane is, near the Sturgis Road, you know, this is a Sturgis Road, you can see it, right? So this is a Sturgis Road, and right now there's an existing sidewalk which goes like this, it just angles it out here. So one is we are taking the sidewalk from here and we are curving the sidewalk here and proposing crosswalks along, and then we are adding another sidewalk and ADA ramp on this section. This is what the improvements we are doing so that it's more accessible to the pedestrians. This is to the Sturgis Road. And then we are doing the I-95 crosswalk here. And we are improving this whole section of sidewalks here until this section. So this whole sidewalk will be replaced with the new concrete sidewalks and ADA ramps. So this is one improvement there, and then another one that we are doing is another I-95 ramps, crosswalks, new ADA ramps, new sidewalks. We are we are making all the AD ramps perpendicular to each other right now. At present, these are angled up. So this is what we are doing, and then another one is 95 crosswalks, and then we are making these also perpendicular to each other. So these are some of the improvements. I can send you the plans and share it as you would like to.
A quick question, Tom Larson.
Yes, Tom. What's your address, Tom?
I'm up in Meriden, but I was with Chris when we were struck that night.
Okay.
The question I have is, the way the sidewalk is currently, it curves up the ramp, so you're gonna straighten it out?
Yes.
The sidewalk can go straight across?
Yes, we are making it perpendicular, so nobody is just angling and going like this.
Right, because both sides curved up and then went across.
Exactly, so
Yeah,
we're just making it straight,
Okay.
so that it's easily crossed.
Can I just make one other comment?
Yes.
This is an unusual situation where the public is actually crossing across an entryway to
Mhm.
a highway.
Yes,
Yeah.
That in
Yes.
itself
yes,
says a lot,
yes,
dangerous.
yes,
My question, and I don't know if
Yes.
this why can't there be like the post that says, okay, press the button if you want to cross,
mhm,
people wait until it's safe for them to cross, same with the other side. But because it's a very, it's a dangerous situation in which there has to be a lot of decisions made. People getting on from the right, across, and people walking across. I don't understand why that has.
It's not a signalized intersection. This is one of the reasons that we don't have any push buttons specifically for the pedestrian. This section is not warranted for the signals, for the traffic signals.
So why is that? I guess that's.
There are 8 warrants for traffic signals, and each warrant, we have to pass through each warrant, according to MUTCD and, as is traffic studies. And unfortunately, this roadway doesn't follow one of the warrant, and that's one of the answers. That's very technical information. If I have to start explaining warrants, then it will consume a whole lot of time. We can have a separate discussion on the warrants if anybody is interested in, knowing about what these 8 warrants are. They're prolonged, and then it also includes a lot of traffic studies are involved in order to pass each warrant. There are 8 of them.
But it has to be state mandated, does it not?
And then it has to be state mandated as well. I know Mill Plain is is a town road. I-95 is a ramp. So yes, it has to also be approved by the state.
Megan, maybe you can detail some of that information on the email when you send her the plan.
Perfect, yes.
Okay, I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Kathleen. Any other comments from the public? Back to the motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the recommendation.
Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Okay. We're up to survey number
We're up to survey number
4. Thank you. Survey number 4, location Mill Plain Road at and between Mill Plain Road. The issue of concern is the crosswalk. The mid-block crosswalk is proposed at Mill Plain Road near Pell Meadow Drive, see attached, and proposed by Mega Jane.
Any comments?
So do I have a motion? Well, first, any comments from the board? No? Any comments from the public? Yes.
Sarah Mason, 15 Fife Road. I want to start by thanking Mega for bringing the Mill Plain crosswalk back to the police commission, and then also you guys for hopefully approving them. It's a really important step for improving safety on Mill Plain by giving children and families and other residents a well-marked space to cross, because right now we don't have one from Umpqua to Riverfield School. I've had a lot of thoughts on the overall process of this, which I shared over email, and I'm going to continue to advocate for changes too. But for today, I just want to echo what you've heard a lot of, which is my experience is that this has also been slow. This is like 18 months to get a crosswalk across Mill Plain. I know things take time. I know you need surveys. I'm not saying I don't understand that. But Mill Plain is really busy. It's also dangerous. With proper infrastructure, it doesn't have to be dangerous. We have children walking to elementary, middle, and high school every day. We owe it to our kids to make it safer. Since I was here in September last year, I witnessed another crash at a utility pole not far from where this picture was taken. Just the other day, I learned that on the Mills Lane at Umpqua, that a child was hit by a car on a scooter. The Yukon Crash Depository cites that there were 19 crashes on Mills Lane since September of 2022. And I think from my, novice reading of the tool, 7 of those occurred between Umpqua and the pool. I really think the town owes it to its residents to prioritize safety for everyone, especially in such a densely populated and heavily trafficked area like Mills Lane. And I really hope that the town can make changes to its current processes to take a more inclusive and systematic approach to decision making. Again, thank you, and I'm really excited to see these. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Jim Myers, 25 Lawrence. I'm a RTM member in District 8, and I've been following all of Sarah's back and forth, and I think she's been very respectful in terms of how she's been asking for things, very patient. I support all of these things. It doesn't matter what you still have kids that went to Riverfield like mine did, or hers are probably going there still, even if you're driving a bike or walking.
Yeah.
This is important. I do have a comment, because I do remember that I think not having a stop sign there might have been an issue. What is the requirement or potentially obstacle for putting up stop signs in our town? I just heard earlier that, Reading Road, which I used to drive a lot as a teenager, from Halls Farm all the way to East and North Road, actually. And, as a teenager, you loved that there were no stop signs. But my question really would be, isn't, traffic calming measure a stop sign? I mean, just the fact that you gotta stop would mean that you gotta stop.
I think that answer to the question could be answered by Officer Arizay.
So there are many mandates for stop signs, which we must follow by NHTSA standards. We can't just arbitrarily put a stop sign as a speed calming measure if we don't have any reason to support or substantiate a stop sign at any given intersection. In other words, line of sight issues, crash data, and so forth. So all of those factors are taken into consideration with regards to stop signs.
I was trying and agreeing with that. Stop signs are not for speed control, and they are only for right of way. We put stop signs at intersections there, which are very busy intersections, where the volume plays a big role, and how many volumes of each car are turning in and out of the intersection. So that's the one we think. Then the pedestrian counts and how many pedestrians are there. I'm not saying that we don't give priority to the pedestrian, because it is not for speed control issues. It's only for cars to give the right of way. If somebody stop there, behave properly, and let the other person, so that it's not generating, that intersection is not generating 20 cars next door. That's what the purpose of the stop sign.
Yeah, 5 is next.
It shouldn't be confused for traffic calming measure. It is not.
Thank you. Megan, thank you. Thank you. So, all in favor?
I'll make
Let's take a motion?
Make a motion.
I would,
Yes, please.
hi, Sarah Roy again, Jim, right?
Jim.
There are a lot of different traffic calming infrastructure elements that can be used to slow traffic that have nothing to do with signage or stop signs. From experience, I have yet to see any.
Sir, I give total respect. You should address the board and not the public.
Okay, I'll just do, sorry.
Thank you.
There's a publication, if anybody would like to talk to me afterwards, there's multiple publications about different types of traffic calming infrastructure that would effectively slow down cars, without needing a stop sign, and I would be more than happy to share all that stuff. It's also online, FHWA traffic calming, you can Google it, but.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can you share that link with us?
Can you share that
I'd be
with the
happy to
commission?
share that. Yeah.
Thank you. Anything else from the public on this matter? Yes,
I'd like to make a motion,
please.
to approve the recommendation by engineering on this item.
And is there a second to that motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Thank
Thank you.
All right, survey number 5. Location, Palmetto Drive at and between Mill Plain Road. The nature of request, the issue of concern is stop signs and crosswalk. Installation of crosswalks, yield signs on pavement, and extension of a median at Palmetto Drive. The stop sign bar will have to be relocated. Please see attached with markup by Mega James, Senior Civil Engineer. And the recommendation is to approve as proposed by engineer.
Does the board, any members of the board have questions with respect to this matter?
So that, just to make a note that,
Speak up, please.
Just make a note that Megan made a great job, illustrating what has to be done, and,
Try with that.
and I, make a motion to accept the recommendation.
Okay, any comments from the public on this issue? Going back to the board, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Is there a second? Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, second. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Any objection? Motion passes. Thank you. Kevin?
Okay, survey number 6. Location, Black Rock Turnpike at and between Ash Creek Road and Fairfield Metro Station. The nature of concern, proposed sidewalks recommended by the zoning department, by whom? Mega Jane, Senior Civil Engineer. And the recommendation is proposed sidewalks recommended by the zoning department at Black Rock between Ash Creek and Fairfield Metro will be tabled for additional planning by developer to meet the ADA and MUTCD requirements.
Yes.
Okay, so the matter is tabled.
I'll make a motion
To
to
table?
take the recommendation.
Is there a second? All in favor of tabling the matter?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. So that does it with the survey, the traffic surveys. Thank you, Megan.
Thanks, Mega.
What do we else? New business? Is there any new business? Seeing none? The monthly report.
I just wanna make a note that, the traffic department gave out 80 speeding tickets during the month of June, for a total of almost $16,000 in fines. Also 18 stop sign violations, so congratulations to the traffic unit and patrol unit for selective enforcement and trying to keep our streets safe.
Any other comments on the monthly report? And that completes our meeting, and so we're now going to go into executive session. Thank you.